What's up everybody? Happy Sunday. It's Ash with Mosko Moto, and I am really excited today to introduce you to the Navigator cell phone pocket. Thank you so much for your patience on this product video. I know a bunch of you have already purchased the product, and if you're still looking at it, well then here you go. I'm going to dive into a product overview, kind of tell you what comes in the box when you order the product. We'll go through some mounting tips and instructions, and then at the very end, I'll show you a few different variations of what the cell phone case looks like mounted on a couple of our tank bags. All right, so let's dig into it. So with the Navigator cell phone pocket, when you order it, it's going to be pretty simple. There will be one poly bag inside the box that contains the cell phone case, and then on the back, you'll find a Velcro panel attached to the cell phone case, and then attached to the Velcro panel you'll see two MOLLE strips that are actually affixed to the Velcro itself. So everything is sort of contained and it doesn't come with anything else. Everything you need to mount it is right here, and we'll dig into that in just a couple of minutes after I kind of introduce you to the product and show you a little bit about the functionality. So where did the idea for this product come from? Well, like most products at Mosko, this was born out of solving a problem. So the problem is navigating by cell phone on a motorcycle trip. I think more and more of us are moving to using our cell phones as the main navigation tool, but there are a few problems with that. So number one, as of the last few years, there have been quite a few handlebar mounts that have come out to mount your cell phone directly to the bike itself. Now the issue with that is that you have a lot of vibration that transfers from the bike to your cell phone, and that can actually disrupt the internal camera stabilization. And in our household, Pete and I have actually ruined 2 cell phones this way. Well, in my book, that's a pretty expensive way to carry your cell phone then. And then the other problem that comes about is accessibility. So if you're carrying your cell phone either just in your pocket, or if you have a cell phone case much like this one that I used to use, and it was actually pretty handy for a while. The issue is accessibility. It's not really that easy to get at. You can't see the screen while you're riding. You've actually got to stop or ride with one hand and try to pull it out. Same thing with your pocket. Many of us have gotten pretty good at pulling our cell phone out and actually taking a look at it while we're riding. But if you're trying to take turn-by-turn navigation steps, it can actually be really difficult and sometimes dangerous. So in my case, I just actually used this new Navigator cell phone pocket on my what turned out to be a solo motorcycle trip through Southeast Asia. And man, I've got to tell you, I don't think that I would have been able to complete the trip nearly as safely as I did if it weren't for this cell phone case. It was so convenient to be able to have my cell phone on display right in front of me the entire time that I was riding. And when I was using it for navigation, I mounted this sunshade actually in the bottom up position so that I could very easily see the screen, and the wind wasn't going to blow this and have it flap back down over the screen itself. So now I'll kind of take you through some of the product features, little tips and tricks on how to use it, and yeah, then I'll give you some mounting tips and we can dive right in there. Okay, so the next thing that I'd really like to touch on is security. When traveling overseas, especially on motorcycle trips, there is some concern for theft, right? So to prevent someone from just walking up, and if they can see your iPhone, they can see the screen of your cell phone exposed, they might just walk up and try to take it away, right? So we've added this little D-ring on the side of the cell phone case. That way you can attach a leash. While I was riding in Southeast Asia, I had a leash attached the entire time to prevent someone from just taking the cell phone case right off my bike. So that, if that gives you any peace of mind, hopefully that helps. The next thing that I'd like to address is inside the cell phone case, you will find a little insert. Now this insert is to help with different size cell phones fitting inside the case in an ideal position. So what I mean by that is if you have a small or standard size phone like a regular iPhone or Android, not the Plus versions that have the larger screen, you're going to want to keep the insert inside. So this little EVA foam helps your phone to stay nice and centered while you're utilizing the cell phone case so that the screen doesn't list to one side or the other. If you do have that larger cell phone size, then you're going to want to remove this insert and just store it somewhere at home in case you end up changing cell phones sometime down the road and you might need the insert then. So you don't have any need to take it with you on most of your trips. You can just remove that and use it without. Now, the sunshade is the real game changer on this product. The sunshade is completely removable. Now, why would we make it removable? As I mentioned briefly earlier, sometimes you'll want to run that cell phone case not in the top down position, but from the bottom up. If you're navigating, if you're using your phone actively to navigate, but you still need that sunshade to protect from direct sunlight, then you're going to want to run it in the bottom up position so that the wind doesn't flap it back down over your screen and keep you from being able to see what you're doing. If you do have it in this position and you're going to leave the cell phone covered up for a little while, I would suggest utilizing this little soft side of Velcro here by pulling up the top flap of the cell phone case and just securing it over the top. That way you don't have to deal with any sort of annoying flapping. But if you do need maximum ventilation, I would say that actually taking that sunshade and bending it upwards just a little bit and creating a bubble like this would allow more air to pass through. So you just kind of want to press down on the outsides and get it to stick to the Velcro a little bit, but allow maximum airflow through that sunshade. So many times though, you will be using the sunshade in the top down position, and it works either way. I do think it's easiest to change this if you just remove the cell phone case from the Velcro, as I'm doing right now, and get it kind of situated there, and then you can stick it back onto the Velcro just like this. Now, another one of my favorite configurations for this sunshade is actually just to take it and roll it up. If you're riding in conditions that are cool enough and you're taking turn-by-turn navigation steps, it's really nice to have the phone accessible and you're not so concerned with the temperature or the sun beating down on it. So you just take that up and roll it behind, and actually the Velcro lines up perfectly so that it just sticks right behind the cell phone case and you can leave it fully exposed. This is also a really convenient way to use the cell phone case. So you'll see here at the bottom, we have cable pass-throughs for charging your cell phone. This also adds more ventilation. And then at the bottom, you've got a nice big punch outs right there that provides a ton of airflow through the cell phone case. The sunshade is still necessary. It's surprising how little sunlight it actually takes for your phone to overheat. So again, I would really suggest when you're using that and you find your phone overheating easily, just do that little taco trick where you kind of pump it up in the middle and then it allows a ton of air to just pass through there. I think you'll have really good luck with that. Okay guys, so I think that just about covers it for the product overview and features. Why don't we get started with the mounting? All right, so when it comes to mounting the Navigator, the first thing that I would do is take off the cell phone case and just grab your Velcro patch here along with the two MOLLE strips that you're going to use to affix it to the MOLLE panel. Okay, so first you want to go ahead and remove these MOLLE strips from the Velcro panel altogether. You can just go ahead and slide them out, and then for now you can set this Velcro patch aside. So when you take your first Velcro strip, this is really important. You want the soft side facing outward when the flaps are folded in. So just as you see here, that's ultimately how you want the strips to be mounted. So when you start weaving it through the MOLLE panel, you're going to start with the rough Velcro facing up. So first you just want to go ahead and weave the Velcro down through the bag you're mounting to. So whether this is our Nomad, a Pico, or the Hood tank bag, or any other MOLLE compatible bag that you might want to affix this to. So you're just going to take that MOLLE panel and weave it through the corresponding webbing after you start on the bag itself. So take your corresponding webbing and you're just going to press it right through. It helps a lot if you take your finger and actually lift up the webbing. It slides through a lot more easily. So once you get through that first piece of webbing, you're going to go back through the bag that you're mounting to. So on to the next piece of the MOLLE panel, and it's just like you're sewing a garment. You're just going to go back and forth and back and forth. So see, I just get it started by using my fingers to pull the MOLLE panel up and then pull the strap through. And then again, back into the bag. And it's a pretty close fit. You want it to be quite snug. So this last MOLLE panel here, this last bit of webbing on the Velcro patch itself, I've seen some people not finish it all the way through. Go ahead and do it. Just weave it through that last little bit of webbing down at the bottom, and then you have a really nice secure mounting point for the cell phone case. pretty important cargo you're carrying there. You definitely don't want to lose your cell phone or have the Velcro patch come off, but it's very, very secure this way. So then you're just going to do the same thing. I like to start with one and then go to the underneath strap, and we'll do the exact same thing. Now you can go ahead and secure your Navigator. I'm going to take the cover off just for demonstration's sake. So here's the rough Velcro side of the Navigator. This is where your cell phone slides in at the top. And then you take that back side of the Velcro and you're just going to adhere it there to the soft side. And there you go. You have a really nice firm mounting point. I do want to point out this little D-ring on the side of the cell phone case. I've mentioned this once before, but I always have a leash with my cell phone. Again, really important cargo. You don't want to misplace your cell phone, or if you're traveling abroad, have someone come and rip it off the bike. You know, it's not very secure if you don't have that redundancy. So go ahead and use that little clip. I have a leash. I actually took the leash off of my Reckless 10 and used that back through the harness itself so that I have some redundancy and safety there. Okay, so hopefully you guys found mounting to be a breeze and didn't have to wrestle too much with those MOLLE strips. Again, it's pretty nice that it's just a one-time thing. You don't have to install this again and again. I thought that it would be neat to kind of round out the video by showing you what the configuration looks like with the Navigator on a couple of different tank bag options. So this is our Pico tank bag. This is more of an Enduro pod style tank bag, a really little guy, and this thing fits perfectly. This is what I used on my Southeast Asia trip. I really like this setup a lot. And the hood tank bag is another favorite. I love this one because it's one-click access. You just open up the hood and you're right inside. This is a fully waterproof tank bag, so it doesn't require any sort of rain cover or anything like that. And the Navigator looks pretty slick on there too. One thing to note with the tank bags, I've had a couple of people ask this online already. The MOLLE panel has 3 strips, so there's no way to mount the Navigator completely centered. It goes to one side or the other. Now, part of the reason that this really works for us is because it allows us to still add a knife or a pen or any other sort of MOLLE accessory that you might want to put. You've got one panel left to add things onto. And then lastly, I'll just kind of show you what the MOLLE panel looks like without anything on it. So this is the Nomad tank bag that doesn't have a Navigator on, but if we were to put the Navigator, you would put it to one side or the other using the mounting instructions that we just went over. So yeah, that about covers it. For the Navigator cell phone pocket. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please let us know in the comments below if you have any questions, or send us an email to moskomoto@moskomoto.com. I will link to the product itself along with these other tank bags in the description, and we'll see you guys later.